I've been used to, that's what I always did when I walked into the garden. First thing we do is look up, and you see the banners. Now I look up and I say, how can I help put one up?
Each of the last couple of years, you've said that, upcoming or somewhere else. Did you really believe it?
You don't know in this business. It's hard to really gauge it, but these days of time, it definitely crossed my mind more times than others in the last couple of years, especially, when you look at the team and you look at the direction that was going, me getting older as a player, and, other guys coming in, you knew that, maybe one day it could happen. Trade rumors were definitely there in the last couple of years, so, it was kind of thought about moving on over the last couple of years. So mentally, I kind of prepared myself, over the last few years that this is something that could be a possibility. And, now that it happened, it's real. I understand it. It's the business, and I think between me, Manny, and all there have hard feelings. We're going in one direction, I'm going in another, and I think it's just a mutual thing. And, I always have love for Boston. But you kind of figured maybe this day would probably come.
So what was your initial reaction when you did that?
I was like, well, you kind of warm yourself up to it because you kind of felt it coming, like I said, on the podium when you saw the early signs on the wall with Doc Rivers moving on. You figure, I've always said I never want to play for another coach, so you figure if Doc Rivers is moving on that, this could be the end of me and Kevin in Boston. And so when it happened, I was mentally prepared for it, and I'm just happy that the move wasn't somewhere where I wouldn't have opportunities to win again, and I'm thankful for that.
Did you think it might be L.A.?
I thought it could have been L.A. Clippers, actually. There was a lot of rumors surrounding that, with me, Kevin, the possibility of the Celtics waiving me, and possibility if that hadn't happened, there's a possibility I could have signed with the Clippers. All those scenarios crossed my mind, and I was talking to my agent, talking about different trade places. Brooklyn was one of the first ones he said Chicago, maybe a couple other places. But I'm happy where I am, and have another opportunity to win a championship.
Well, you guys touched on this a little up there, but there's a lot of teams that put things together on paper, and you guys obviously look very good on paper. But you've seen teams, the Lakers even last year, who fail. What is it that makes the team go from on paper and make it work for real?
I think like Kevin said at the podium, I think it's going to be a sacrifice. It's us leaving our egos at the door, and I think we have, for the amount of star players we have on this team, I think you can say it's probably one of the most egoless teams. And I think, all these guys are going to be willing to sacrifice for an ultimate goal. That, as you heard throughout today, a number of times the word championship has come up. It's going to come up a lot, and that's what we put on ourselves when we put together a team like this. And that's going to be the expectation. And if we believe that we want to win a championship, we know we're going to have to sacrifice, and we're going to have to install that and implement it with the other guys.
How does the dynamic change now with Boston? You had Doc Rivers. You guys won a championship together, an experienced coach. You now come to the Nets. Jason Kidd, first year, inexperienced, but yet you guys, as far as players are concerned, you have the experience to maybe help him along in his first year?
Well, yeah. When you look at Jason, though, you're talking about one of the great basketball minds that this game has probably ever seen. You saw it on the court. You saw it with his leadership. And I think, there's some guys in this league that you could say, during their playing days, that you could point out and say, he's going to be an NBA head coach. And Jason was one of those guys. Maybe Chauncey Billups is another guy. Most of the time it's going to be a point guard because, the point guard is an extension of a coach. And so I think Jason's going to do fine. I think with me, Kevin, and Jason Terry with the experience that we got, we're going to help him along. We're not going to be coaches, but, we're going to help enforce whatever rules he's going to put in as veterans to help the other guys understand what we need to do.